savings and investments are critical, not just for individuals, but for every economy. And so every attempt, every activity, every initiative that supports savings and investments needs every support, every endorsement that we can master. But let me quickly add that it's also important to understand that there's a difference between savings and investment. From where I sit, or from my experience in this area for these past years, people are not able to make that distinction. So savings is that part of your income that you do not consume. But investment is your savings that you put to work. And there's a clear difference. Once you're putting your savings to work, there will be some element of risk. The risk could be low, it could be medium, it could be high. But you need to understand that if you leave your savings without putting it to work, you are exposing it to the effect of inflation, depreciation of the currency, which can reduce the value of your savings. So it's good, and it's the right thing to do is to put your savings to work. But once you get into putting your savings to work, you know that you have to take some level of risk. And that is why fund managers or investment advisors would have to counsel you. They'll have to profile you so that you make an informed decision. If you take a lot of risk, the principle is that the higher the risk, the higher the return, and vice versa. And I think we need to get this message out there that savings and investments are critical, but people must understand that there's a difference between savings and investment. If you want to grow your savings, that is when you put it to work. One of the principles I've always advocated when I'm doing financial literacy or talking about investments is bring out the fact that money is a potential employee. So money can work. But once money can work, there will be some element of risk. I'm saying this because we need to understand that when it comes to investment, there must be a certain sense of responsibility. Many times people think it's the responsibility of only one player. I'm going to emphasize that it's a shared responsibility. And I'll talk about three different entities that, when it comes to investment, must be responsible and must live up to their responsibility. It's a shared responsibility. Now, the three different actors or entities I'll talk about a regulator. I'm coming from that stable. So there's a responsibility of the regulator. There's a responsibility of the market operator, in this case, a Tesah. There's also the responsibility of the investor or the investing public. It's a shared responsibility. And I'm stressing this because people are quick to say, oh, you as the regulator or you as the fund manager must do this, must do that. We all have our responsibilities. Savings and investments are critical. Investments are needed to grow your wealth and also to help address economic challenges in the economy. But the responsibility is shared, and we must all live up to our responsibility. So the message I want to leave at this launch is that when it comes to investment, it's a shared responsibility. Let's all live up to our responsibility. When you take the responsibility of the regulator, among other things, we have to make sure that we have the right regulations in place that would guide the operation of various players within the sector, because it's a regulated sector. So we come up with regulations. For instance, we have recently come up with investment guidelines that is supposed to guide the fund managers in particular on what to do and what not to do, how to, for instance, engage their clients and execute the mandate that the clients will give to them. So we have come up with that. And our responsibility will be to ensure that there's compliance. And I can put it on record that we are very determined to ensure compliance of the various regulations that we have. We have also recently issued what we call conduct of business guidelines. Now, this particular guidelines addresses especially governance, corporate governance issues. Now, the challenges that we've seen in the industry over the past few years, a lot of it can be placed on the weak, or in some cases, lack of corporate governance. We've put in place, some provisions in the conduct of business guidelines, and we are again going to enforce and make sure that the market operators go by it. So I'm saying that one of the things we need to do as part of our responsibility is to work on regulations. Then we also look at licensing. Licensing is one of the things that we also, is part of our responsibility. Investment or money business is regulated activity. You can't just get up and then get into the business. You need to fulfill some requirements. Again, we have issued guidelines regarding licensing, and the emphasis is on having fit and proper persons to operate within the industry. We have made it tighter, and again, I like to say that we do not intend to relax on any of the new standards that we have set. We've, for instance, also raised the minimum capital requirement, and for those who are unable to meet it, what must happen will happen in terms of they having to look at other ways of reorganizing themselves. I will not give all the details here, but we are definitely going to ensure that we have fit and proper people operating in the industry, because that's our responsibility. One of the things we do to protect the investor and the integrity of the market. Then I can talk about enforcement, and I alluded to it when I was talking about both the regulations and the licensing. We have come up with a new enforcement manual, and we have added to the number of warm bodies we have in that area. And again, we are sending a signal that enforcement is going to be very strong going forward, because we need to send the right signals to the market, to the investing public, that the regulator would not sit or look on unconcerned, but would ensure that bad behavior is nipped in the bud, and the market operators stay on the straight and the narrow. And then another part of our responsibility has to do with investor education. When we went through the cleanup exercise, one of the things that came up strongly was the fact that people do not really understand the whole capital market investments and all of that. And people did think that if they had more knowledge, they would have done in a better way. And we have, again, put in place a program, and this time we are not going to make it a flash in the pan. We are going to have it as a sustained approach to getting information out there to the investing public, including creating access on our website to information that would help the investing public make the right decisions. Then let me now move to the responsibility of the market operators, in this case, Tesah. So we expect the market operators to live up to their fiduciary role, because you are dealing with what we call OPM, other people's money, okay? And there's a way in which we expect you to behave. We have a compliance manual that all market operators are supposed to work with. The conduct of business guidelines, as I said earlier, also has a number of provisions. But it's important that the market operators live up to their fiduciary role. Then I want to also mention the role of professionalism, because it's important for market operators and fund managers, when you're doing your work, you have to be very professional. You cannot, for instance, invest assets of a client or an asset owner in some vehicle that doesn't match the risk profile, for instance, of that particular client. You need to be very professional in the way you get the work done, the way you engage the client. So professionalism, and it requires making sure that you have the right kind of human capital and systems in place to ensure that. Another aspect of the responsibility of market operators I'd like to highlight is compliance. Compliance. And we have made it a requirement to license compliance officers, and we require that the management team, the boards, should give all the support to the compliance officers so that they can get their job done. Another aspect of the responsibility of market operators is on giving adequate disclosure to their client. And again, without boring you, but we saw instances of a lot of clients not knowing where their money was going. At least we've been told that Tesah Treasury Trust, it's treasury bills, treasury notes, and treasury bonds. So if you subscribe and you find that there are other things other than treasury notes, treasury bills, treasury bonds, then you know that there's a problem and you should begin to ask questions. So adequate disclosure is important. Then let me move, as I get to the end of my brief remarks, to the responsibility of the investing public. Remember, I'm saying it's a shared responsibility. As a regulator, I have a role, the market operators have a role, but the investing public, please, it's important for the investing public to understand their responsibility. When it comes to investment, at the minimum, you must seek to understand the product. Please do not say that, oh, my brother or my cousin or my sister or my uncle says it is good, and so I'm also committing resources. Seek to understand the product. One of the respected people in the area of investment, he has made his wealth in investment. I believe many of us know about him or have heard about him, Warren Buffett. He says if he does not understand a product, he will not put his money in it. And when, where I sit as a regulator and we get complaints, especially around this time when all kinds of unscrupulous people are coming up with schemes to scam people, they will tell you that we'll give you 10% every day, some every week, some ridiculous, offers. The question is, do you understand what they are doing to be able to promise you those returns? You need to take time to understand, but you don't. If you don't take time to understand, and then you get scammed, and then you'll be looking to someone to bail you out, you are shaking your responsibility. So as an investor, it's important that you take time to understand products. I want to also recommend that your responsibility as an investor or for the investing public is to buy products. Please don't go chasing returns. You have to buy products. So if they say Tesah Treasury Trust, what is that product? Understand the product. If they say Tesah Future Fund, they say it's a balanced fund. So ask yourself, do I need a balanced fund? What would a balanced fund do for me? Is it ideal for my retirement savings or my retirement plan, etc., etc.? You need to understand. The Tesah Treasury Trust, for instance, may be suited for your emergency fund because of the nature. But I'm saying that buy products. Don't go chasing returns. People have chased returns, and it has become something else. So the responsibility of the investing public, buy products. Buy products. Do not chase returns. The last aspect of the responsibility of the investing public I want to mention is, please, you are responsible to ask questions. Ask questions. When you are not clear, ask. If the answer or the answers you get are not convincing, then, make up your mind. I remember some years back, there was some particular incident that happened, and then there was an issue that a particular company, for instance, wasn't producing results. And, the comment that some of us made, or the thought we had, is that the fact that someone doesn't produce some results, that in itself is information. I don't know whether you're getting it. You say, okay, I'm looking for information. This company hasn't giving information. Why? Give information. Now, if that company fails or persists not to provide information, that non-provision itself is information. In other words, it has a sense of signal to you that all may not be well. Okay, so I'm just saying that for the investing public, we need to come to the point where we ask questions and we take responsibility for the investment decisions that we make. It is very important. And I'm saying this especially because I've come here to the launch of the Tesah Capital. I sit as the Director General. I don't want you to say that, hey, because the DG of SEC came to the launch, it means that I have to, by all means, put my money into it. I'm not here to endorse the products. I can't do that because as a regulator, there are different products that I have oversight of. I'm here because I believe that investment, and in particular investment in collective investment schemes, are very good. Actually, I want to say that as the SEC, we are signaling, and we've sent this message to the fund managers, that we want collective investment schemes to be the default investment vehicles for the average investor. And we're going to throw every resource we have to support having strong, viable collective investment schemes. Okay, so I'm here to say that I like what Tesah is doing, but if you are going to invest, ask questions. I hope you understand. You must ask questions, But I would like to end by saying that, collective investment schemes is the way to go. This is not the forum for me to talk about the benefits of it. But we've done a lot of work in terms of the cleanup in the asset management space. And I'm happy that we still have a lot of good fund managers in the system. And I would encourage the investing public not to be shy about investing. It still pays to invest your money. Because if you leave your money just as savings, inflation can erode its value. But put your money to work. And the way to put it to work is to invest it. And one of the very good vehicles that you can select is the collective investment schemes. Here we are, Tesah is introducing 2 new collective investment schemes. The Tesah Treasury Trust, the Tesah Future Fund. And they've made it easy for you to also have that investing experience with the Tesah Mobile. I think it's a very nice combination. So take time to understand the product and buy the product and follow your investment and help yourself, your family to achieve your investment goals and objectives. So I'm very happy that we are seeing this, and I know that there are a number of more CIS that will be coming. At least I know we have a number of them that we are looking at, and I encourage the fund managers, because there will be competition, there will be other CIS in the system. Let your own stand out. Do a good job managing it. I think the Tesah Mobile itself will just make your own, stand out right from the word go. And I think that I just hope it's user friendly. It's not because I tried some other one and I abandoned it. So maybe I'll download it and then I will give you feedback, maybe through Eugenia. But I'd like to congratulate, before I take my seat, Tesah Capital for adding some color to the range of products that we have. Under our Capital Market Master Plan that we recently launched, one of the pillars is to improve the diversity of investment products that we have. And I'm happy that Tesah is helping us to achieve that, that goal with the launch of the Tesah Future Fund and then the Tesah Treasury Trust anchored with the Tesah Mobile. So thank you for your attention. And I don't know if I'm supposed to unveil something or hold something up and say it's, but...
At this point, I think Eugenia and Kathy can join you, and they will be holding the prospectus of each product. And you can then, by the power of your voice and words, declare this fully and officially launched.
Okay. I'm so excited because I believe in collective investment schemes. And we have here 2 prospectuses for 2 funds, or 2, because this is a unit trust and this is a mutual fund, but they are all collective investment schemes. I'm happy and privileged to declare by the powers invested in me the Tesah Treasury Trust and the Tesah Future Fund duly launched. Of course, once I'm here to launch, it means that we as the SEC have approved them. So these are not illegal products. They are products that we have licensed. But please ask questions when you put your money, because it's a shared responsibility. Thank you for your attention.